Okay, this one, I'll try to make sure you guys all watch this video. This one is a little trickier, mostly because we can we can solve this. We've actually solved these a lot, but it just looks unfamiliar. So 2 sine squared x minus sine x minus 1. Okay, what makes this so difficult is this sine x in here. So we're just going to do a little u substitution. We're going to say u equals sine x. If you squared both sides, you get u squared equals sine squared x. So really, I'm just dealing with 2u squared minus u minus 1 equals 0. Okay? This is just a quadratic that we can factor. It looks tricky until you change it without the signs. Okay? This one is also a little tricky because we're going to have to do our little x factor, unless you could guess and check. So negative 2u squared negative u, well, that'd be negative 2u positive 1u. So 2u squared minus 2u plus u minus 1 equals 0. If we group that, take out a 2u, that'd be u minus 1. Nothing comes out, so I'm just going to placeholder 1. U minus 1 equals 0. So I get 2u plus 1 times u minus 1 equals 0. Oh, you cannot see that. Okay, so we're just doing a factoring. So we get 2u plus 1 equals 0. U minus 1 equals 0. Subtract the 1, divide by 2. We'd get u equals negative 1/2 and u equals 1. So subtract the 1, divide by 2, and just add the 1. Okay, but u equals sine x. Okay, so really we have sine x equals negative 1/2 and sine x equals 1. Okay, so a little bit of u substitution. Just taking something that's a little bit more complex in a quadratic and replacing it with a u, or any variable you want. U is just the one we always use. Okay, we're finding all solutions. So this means I'm going to have plus 2 pi or plus pi. So sine is negative 1/2. Looking at our unit circle, sine is negative 1/2 at, and it doesn't say radians or degrees, so it doesn't matter on this one. Usually if they give us in radians, I give it back in radians. If it gives it to me in degrees, I give it back in degrees. Okay, so sine is negative 1/2 at 210 or 7 pi 6. And sine is, oh wait, there's another negative 1/2. 330 or 11 pi 6. Sine is 1 at 0 degrees or radians. Nope, I lied. Sine is 1 at 90 degrees or pi halves. I was looking at cosine. Okay, so our answer is going to be, I'm going to do in radians. 7 pi 6 plus 2 pi n, 11 pi 6 plus 2 pi n, and pi halves plus 2 pi n. So that one had 3 answers. Okay, last one. Okay, so find all the solutions of the equation in the interval 0 to 360 degrees. Okay, 0 to 360. These ones are probably the trickiest ones we have, because, as I said at the beginning, you want your identities page. Okay, which I gotta find mine real quick. Identities page. Okay, because this one has sine and cosine, and I can't factor it with 2 variables. I don't have multiple equations, so I can't do a systems of equation. So I'm going to change this sine squared x I know that there's a Pythagorean identity that says sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. So sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x. I want to get this all into cosine. So that would be 2, do some substitution, 1 minus cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 3 equals 0. So I get 2 minus 2 cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, combining like terms. Negative 2 cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. As I said, this one's the most intense one. Okay, we can now use u substitution. So negative 2u squared plus 3u minus 1 equals 0. So u equals cosine x. Okay, in case you missed that. If we x factor that, we'd get 2u squared and 3u. So multiply the first and the last. So that'd be 2u and 1u. So negative 2u squared plus 2u plus u minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to take out a negative 2, u. So that's u minus 1. And you guys can see that. Okay. And then out of my second bunch, nothing comes out but a 1. U minus 1 equals 0. So I get u minus 1 and negative 2u plus 1 equals 0. Those are my two factors. Okay? So I'd get cosine, or u would equal 1 if I set that equal to 0 and solve. U would equal 1. Okay? If I set this one equal to 0, I would get u equals 1/2. I would subtract the 1, divide by negative 2. So I have cosine x equals 1, cosine x equals 1/2. Okay, looking at my unit circle, x equals 1, cosine equals 1 at 0 degrees, which is that's it, and cosine equals 1/2 at 60 degrees, and let's see, there should be one more positive, 300 degrees. So that would be that answer. Let's see. Okay, last one. Sorry, these videos are a little bit longer. Take them as pieces at a time. Okay, again, we have a secant and we have a tangent. We need either all secant or all tangent. But because secant is the squared, we're going to try to change everything to tangent. So I know that tangent squared x plus 1 equals secant squared x. Again, Pythagorean identities. I told you guys these are huge. We do them all the time. They're very important. So we're going to take this and we're going to replace that. So tangent squared x plus 1 plus tangent x equals 3. Okay. Rearrange this a little bit. Tangent squared x plus tangent x plus 1 equals 3. And I'm actually going to subtract that 3 over because I need that set equal to 0. So if I subtract that 3 over, minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so then I could say u equals tangent x. So u squared plus u minus 2 equals 0. What multiplies to 2 and adds to 1. Okay, this one we could do that shortcut because there's nothing in front of our squared. So what multiplies to negative 2 and adds to 1? Well, that's u plus 2, u minus 1 equals 0. So u equals negative 2, u equals 1. So we're saying tangent equals negative 2 and tangent, sorry, x x equals 1. Okay, so let's start with the tangent x equals 1. We could find this one pretty easy because we found that 45-degree angles for tangent is 1. So this answer, x equals 45 degrees. And there's one more. All students take in quadrant 3, 225 degrees. Okay? If you look at this, tangent x equals -2. Can you find -2 on our unit circle? I can't. So this one we're going to actually use our calculator. So we're going to solve for x. To get x by itself, we do the tangent inverse. Okay, so we're going to grab our calculator. Make sure you're in degrees, because for our answers, we want them in degrees. So we are going to go mode. I'm in degrees, so we're good. So second tangent, -2. Okay, so we are going to get -63.4. Okay, is that in our interval? Is that in our interval of 360 and 0? No, but what do we know about the period for tangent? It's every 180 degrees. So I'm going to add 180 degrees to this. That gives me 116.6 degrees. Okay? So that's within my 0 and 360. Is there another one? I don't know. I'm going to take 116.6 and I'm going to add another 180 degrees. And I get 296.6 degrees, which is still within my interval. So this one actually has 4 answers as well. The tangent x equals -2 we had to do in our calculator, and because of the period for tangent is 180, we added 180 degrees to find the ones that are within our required interval 0 to 360. Okay, guys, please let me know if you have questions on these. Email me once and I will make videos for any problems that you need, and have a great day. Bye.